Welcome to In History. Today we learn about Indus Valley Civilization's decline. The Indus Valley Civilization, also known as the Harrapan Civilization, was one of the oldest and most advanced civilizations in the world. It flourished in the Indus River Valley from about 3300 to 1300 BCE. It had large cities, a writing system, trade networks, and sophisticated technology. However, around 2500 BCE, this civilization began to decline, and people moved to the east, to the Himalayan foothills. By 1800 BCE, most of the cities were abandoned. What caused this decline? There are many theories, but two of the most popular ones are the Sarswati River drying up and the Aryan invasion. The Aryan invasion theory is the idea that a group of people called Aryans invaded India from Central Asia and destroyed the Indus Valley civilization. This theory was first proposed by a German scholar named Max Muller in the 19th century. He based his theory on linguistic and religious similarities between Sanskrit and other Indo-European language. They saw that Sanskrit, the language of the ancient Hindu scriptures called Vedas, had similarities with other languages in Europe. These scholars thought, hey, the Vedas are like the ancient manual for Indo-European culture. They also noticed differences between the Vedas and the Indus Valley civilization, thinking the Aryans, who they saw as nomadic and warlike, must have invaded India from Central Asia and wrecked more of peaceful and trade-based Indus Valley civilization. However, this theory has been challenged by many scholars and historians. They argue that there is no archaeological evidence of war, or we did not find any mass graves or skeletons with war injuries at the Indus Valley sites. They also point out that the Aryan invasion theory is based on colonial and racial assumptions. Therefore, they suggest a different theory, the Aryan migration theory. The Aryan migration theory is the idea that Aryans migrated to India peacefully and assimilated with the local peoples. There are many evidences supporting this theory. For example, archaeologists have found pottery, tools, and other artifacts that show similarities between Harappan and Aryan cultures. Now, let's zoom in on genetic evidence. It's like reading the ancient stories written in our DNA. Geneticists have taken a peek at the genes of people from different parts of India and Central Asia, both in the past and today. They've even studied the bones and mummies from the ancient Indus Valley civilization and Central Asian cultures. It's like creating a family tree, but using genes. What they found is pretty interesting. By looking at specific genetic markers and family connections, they can trace where different groups come from and how they've mixed over time. The story they tell supports the idea that the people in India today have a mix of ancestors from different places. There are two main branches, like big family groups, the ancestral North Indian Ani and the ancestral South Indian Azi. The ANI folks are linked to the Indo-European speakers, while the ASI folks have ties to the ancient Indus Valley people. One of the sources that support the theory of Aryan migration to India is the Vedic scriptures themselves. These are ancient texts that contain hymns, rituals, myths, and philosophy of the Aryans. They mention cultural exchanges and assimilation between Aryans and non-Aryans. But they also mention war and conflict with non-Aryan people, known as the Dasyas. One of the most famous examples is the Battle of the 10 Kings, which is described in the Rig Veda. This battle is thought to have taken place between the Aryans and a confederation of 10 Dasyu tribes. The Aryans were victorious in the battle, and this victory is seen as a turning point in the Aryan migration to India. Another factor that contributed to the decline of the Indus Valley Civilization, IVC, was the environment. The IVC depended on the flooding of the Indus River for irrigation and agriculture. However, around 2500 BCE, the monsoon rains became weaker and less reliable, causing droughts and crop failures. This is supported by geological evidence, such as the presence of sand dunes and dried-up riverbeds in areas that were once part of the Sarswati River, which was a major tributary of the Indus River, dried up due to tectonic events. This is supported by satellite imagery, which shows the remains of a dried-up riverbed in the Thar Desert. The decline of the IVC due to environmental factors is thought to have created a power vacuum, which allowed the Aryans to migrate to India and establish themselves. They had iron weapons that could clear forests and make new lands for farming. Hence, they moved to the Gangetic Plains, where the soil was more fertile and water was more abundant. In conclusion, we have seen how the Indus Valley Civilization declined and how the Aryan culture flourished in India. The Aryan invasion theory has been replaced by the Aryan migration theory in recent years, as more research has been done on this topic. However, this does not mean that we have all the answers. There are still many questions and debates about this topic. I encourage you to explore further and consider multiple viewpoints.
That's it for today's video. Thanks for joining in. If you want a deeper dive into the topics we've covered or stay updated on our future explorations, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay curious, stay enlightened, and see you in the next video.